every job seeker is asking, where are the opportunities? Because we hear about the job market being uncertain, but there are still industries hiring. So, how do you position yourself for those roles? I want to start off by asking all of you, if somebody has been applying for a role for months and just not getting a response, what are they likely doing wrong, Maybelle?
The first stop for me would be to look at the resume. Are you applying for 100 jobs with the same resume? Or are you tailoring your resume per job? As a company that's looking at so many CVs out there, we think two things when we look at a generic resume come in. One is, to be very frank, is this person lazy? And why is because you have AI at the tip of your fingers. If you don't make the effort to use AI to tailor your resume to the job, and then of course check after, it doesn't signal well. You need a presence beyond your resume and your application. AI can triangulate so many data points now. One is not enough.
It's really important to establish a personal presence and brand. For example, LinkedIn. A LinkedIn profile is an excellent 24/7 platform where people could find you. They could cross-reference with your resume. And if you leave an indelible mark in the way you interact with recruiters, headhunters, potential employers on LinkedIn, the way they talk about the latest trend, the latest challenges faced in the industry, or a particular phenomenon that's facing certain organization. And this would allow you to not just put forward just a name and a face on social media, but also showcase your expertise either on a chat, on a LinkedIn post, or even to share something to provide insight to show that you know something.
So instead of sending out mass resumes to everybody who's out there, really consider very carefully each industry or each company that you're applying to, and to be very specific in how you tailor your resume to that organization. And I think when a recruiter from that organization sees your resume, it will scream, this is not generic. This was really tailored for me as an organization. And I'll be more tempted to want to really look at your resume and give you a call back.
How's the job market panning out so far this year? And are there, if there is such a thing, industries that are perhaps more secure than others?
We are seeing some tremors and movement, retrenchment or layoff, happening even in some industries where it's supposed to bring great growth. So what this means is that we need to ask ourselves this question: what is my value proposition? You can be in an evergreen industry, but that industry might be going through changes and redesign because of AI and structural transformation right now. How am I preparing myself to be that next best version of myself for the needs and the challenges faced by the organization, regardless if it's an evergreen organization or a growth industry?
Even though there are layoffs, there are also lots of jobs out there. The jobs have just evolved. So you need to think about, how does my skill set cater to those? The baseline of what you knew a job meant a year ago even has changed. So how do you then adapt to that? And at EngageRocket, we work with a lot of companies who are now looking at human advantage pathways, thinking about, if you take away the task-based jobs that can be replaced by AI, what's left? It's human skills, judgment, learning agility, collaboration, problem solving. So focus on those, because the rest, AI can do for you.
Roles are rapidly evolving, and the kind of skills that you're going to have to go about developing at a fast pace is certainly there. So I think as we look at some of these new roles in the industry, it's being very cognizant to the fact that organizations are also rethinking how we are reshaping some of our roles today. And as some roles goes away, there will be new roles, new skills, and new capabilities that will be added for this new future.
You've all mentioned evolving roles and changing skill sets needed. I wonder, how does somebody go about finding how this evolution is taking place, and how do you get ready for it?
Do a simple exercise of 2 columns. On one side of the column, what does the organization or what does the job require? What is the problem they are trying to solve in the industry? And on the other column, which represents you, be very honest with yourself because ChatGPT cannot do that for you. You can ask yourself this question: can I meet this organization's need? Number one, number two, number three, very honestly, because the chances are is we're not able to meet every job vacancy's need, but we want to aim for at least 50%. And when you put your best foot forward in the job interview, you want to showcase them. You want to showcase these things and show that, you know what, I may not have 50% of the other, but here's 50%. And here's how I've done it before, and here's how I can reproduce that again for you. Workforce Singapore has a jobs transformation map. And for most of the industry, they have already indicated what is the specific AI skills that you need for this job in this sector and this sub-sector. So if you want to ask yourself, how do I know I can make it in this job description, how do I tailor my resume? Don't look further. You have to look into the skills framework, you have to look into the job transformation map, and then ask yourself, where am I when I put all these things together?
If I wanted to switch industries in the next 6 months or a year, what's the most realistic way to go about doing it?
You look at the common denominator between the role you are currently doing and the one you want to get to. There will be transferable skills: collaboration, stakeholder management, communication. These are skills that you can transfer across quite easily. So focus on those and see how you can then use that to pivot into another industry. We've hired people from events, from retail, and they've been very successful with us. We don't really need you to have the technical skills. We need you to have the grit, the learning agility, and the ability to evolve. So focus on those.
And when you're going to be changing industries, also consider the types of questions that a new employer will be asking you. So really think about your narrative. What is that story? So going beyond picking up the new skills, you also have to think through how you're going to play out the story. What is this narrative? How are you bringing skills that are transferable from one industry to another? So what is that common denominator? And really showcasing through your current experience or through your past experiences, how do you really bring to life those skills?
Our statistics shows that 7 in 10 Singaporean do struggle to articulate or to generate their own skills, let alone transferable skills. So when you are faced with this challenge, and that's a really big number, because let's be real, we don't wake up every morning looking into the mirror and regurgitating and reciting our top 10 skills. Nobody does that. So because it doesn't happen naturally, we live in a very precarious generation of work right now that requires us to be able to narrate your career skills, your story, your value proposition that lights up the eyes of the employer. Now, if you face difficulty to generate contents, you could definitely use AI. But one thing that sets you apart is that story using certain set of skills and competency, producing that exponential achievement that can be repeated or reproduced again in different places, different industry. Everyone has it. And if you face a struggle to do this, reach out and work with a career coach or career counselor to do this. You are better than you think you are.